Hello my queens, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be trying to catch up to my Goodreads goal. My Goodreads goal is 100 books for the year. I really want to reach this goal. Like, I'm not going to cry if I don't reach it, but I feel like that would be so fun to celebrate my first year of BookTube reading 100 books in a year. Like, I just feel like that would be so fun. I was just looking at my updated whatchamacallit. I have read 32 of 100 books. That means I'm 19 books behind schedule as of today. Let me actually screenshot this. You guys right here. He wants to be in it for a second. I am terrified because that means I would need to read like in the month of, I'm starting this video in July. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. I would love to like be 10 books behind schedule. That would make me feel a lot better. I think I need to start reading like a book in 2 days. So that means in 30 days, I need to have read 15 books. Today is July 7th. I've read 3 books so far this month. So 2, 4, 6. That means I need to be finishing another book tomorrow in order to keep up with this 1 book every 2 days thing that I have going on. Oh my gosh, if I do that, I will be slaying, absolutely slaying. So we'll see. We will see how ahead I can get in the next, I don't know, I'll probably film this video over a month. We will see. So let me go show you the book I currently am reading. I picked this up late last night. I only got like 19 pages in. I read for like 20 minutes and I can already tell I am going to love this book so much. So what I know so far just from reading the back and like the few pages that I have also, how cute is this bookmark with this book? Like, I just feel like this is the cutest little combo. What we know so far is that a couple is sailing on Nantucket and they get into an accident and they are no longer with us. And their 2 kids are left with 3 other couples that they were super close with on the island. But what a lot of these couples don't know is that they are all like, some of them have been cheating on each other, some of them dated in the past but then married somebody else. So it's like very messy. And I don't know where we're going from there, but that's what I know so far. So I'm gonna keep reading this and I basically need to finish this tomorrow. Why is it so yellow? Now I'm pink. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my bathroom, but I need to be like reading basically nonstop. So I looked up The Housemaid is Watching on Spotify, but it's not on there. So why do they not have audio for it? I'm so confused. I really wanted to listen to this. It's the 3rd book in the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden. And I really want to watch it, but for some reason they don't have an audio version. Okay, I think instead I'm gonna do Never Lie by Frida McFadden while I clean. So it's pretty short. It's only 7 hours and 21 minutes. Okay, I finished Never Lie last night. Guys, I literally read that in 1 sitting. I'm not even kidding. I had that freaking Spotify audiobook bumping, okay? I literally read it until 3 in the morning and then, or I listened to it till 3 in the morning and then I woke up and it was the first thing I did. I had like 30 minutes left. I could not stay up. I was so tired last night. And I mostly just wanted to get over with because I didn't really like it that much. I didn't feel like it gave me that twisty feeling that her other books have done, like The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret. So I don't know. I was just very confused. I kept on waiting for like me to get that like, oh my goodness, I'm scared, or like, oh my goodness, I'm kind of spooked to be reading this at night. And I just never really got that feeling. So I'd probably give it like 2 stars. I don't know. It was just not spooky to me. It was not mysterying to me. It was not thrilling me. And I went and read the reviews on Goodreads and a lot of people were saying the same thing, like, oh, that was it. Okay. And then also the ending makes no sense. Makes no sense when you think about a lot of stuff that happened in the beginning of the book. Like, it just made absolutely no sense. She was kind of like clickbaity a little bit in the book. Like, she would overemphasize one thing, like drinking the water. She was drinking the water on the property. So you're thinking, oh, like she's gonna drown. Like somehow the water is gonna come back around to the end of the story, and it just never did. Kind of like clickbaiting, trying to get us to be like nervous about one thing, but then that literally was just a pointless thing to even bring up. I don't really like that. I like for there to be a lot of things brought up and then maybe like one of those things or 2 of those things be tied into the end. But then all the other things, all the other 10 things maybe that were mentioned do relate to other things that happen in the book, but maybe not like the big mystery, but at least have some kind of connection from beginning to middle to end, versus just kind of sprinkling a bunch of random stuff in there and being like, ah, gotcha, it was actually only this one thing. And then it's like, well, what was the point of being like, she really likes water, 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 water? Like, okay, girl. Anyway, 2 stars. I've read 6 books since the last clip, including these ones right here, and I am still 17 books behind schedule. Literally, how? Literally, how? So I actually think I need to become more analytical when it comes to catching up to my reading goal. So I did a little bit of math on if I want to read 100 books in a year, how many books that would be every month that I need to read, and then every week that I need to read. So I need to do that number. But then I'm 17 books behind schedule. So then if I want to catch up in a month, I need to add those 17 books throughout the month on top of the books I need to be reading in order to catch up. Does all of that make sense? So we're not only doing our regular reading to get to 100 books in a year, but now because I'm behind, I also need to add those on top of the ones I'm already supposed to be reading. 5 more months left in the year, which sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. It's actually not a lot of time. So I made a little outline in my planner, and guess what? It is August 5th today, and I am already behind on being behind. Like how? Literally how the days are flying by. But it's fine. We're gonna redo this, and then I will update you guys on my plan. Not right now. Okay, here's my little cheat sheet. In order to read 100 books a year, I need to read 2 books a week, okay? If I'm 17 books behind schedule, that means I need to read 3 books over 5 weeks in order to catch up. I'm really hoping all of this math is correct. So we add the 3 books plus the 2 books in order to just keep up in general, which means I need to read 5 books a week. So I have mapped out in the month of August. Today is Monday, August 5th, which means today I need to finish my 2nd book. Will I be able to do that? I don't know. So we will see. I was supposed to finish 5 books last week and I didn't, which means I will need to read 9 books this week. Monday through Sunday, I need to read 9 books, which I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm not gonna be able to read 2 books in 1 week. So I kind of scattered it. Like some days I'm really gonna just have to like sprint, and then I took some days off and we'll just figure it out that way. But you guys can kind of see above the number date what book I need to be on. Like I need to be on my 5th book by the 8th of this month. So we will see if I'll be able to keep up with this. But I need to read a book every day for the next 2 weeks. Guys, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but we will try. We will try. Let's go. The book that I started last night is actually It Ends With Us, because the movie is coming out in a few days. So I'm trying to finish my reread of it before the movie comes out.
That's my age.
Look at these cute bow bookmarks I made at Faith's house. I posted a reel of how to do them if you want to know, and it's really cool because then your book has a bow on it. Oh my goodness, like that is like the cutest thing ever. 70% done with It Ends With Us. Where's my book? I made it to part 2 today, which is fabulous. We're about to do another reading sprint in the book club, so I'm definitely gonna finish it tonight, but I need to run to the store and grab some cat litter. So I think, yeah, part 2. Wow, I made it really far. So this is what I have left, and this is what I read. If you are watching the movie, well, by the time this video goes up, the movie will already be out, but if you haven't seen it yet, you can easily read the book in a day. Like, it's so easy. It probably takes 6 hours to read total, and I'll definitely finish this last part in probably like 2 hours tonight, but I need to run to the store and grab some cat litter, so I'm gonna listen to an Audible book just to be listening to something as I'm like running errands. I thought I canceled my Audible subscription, but I guess I didn't. I thought that having a Spotify account with like the audio listening hours would be enough, but I listened to my 15 hours within 2 days of having my hours, so I kind of need to have Audible as well because the subscription is $7, $7.95 or something. And to purchase a book on Audible, like this one is 30% off right now, and it's, I just hit myself, okay, it's $19. So it makes more sense to have the subscription if you're gonna read the book or listen to the book every month. I have realized that I have a hard time listening to certain audiobooks. Like some of them my brain does not catch on to. Like I purchased The Women on Audible and I tried listening to it and my brain just was not grasping at all. So I actually returned it, and now I think I'm gonna download The Teacher by Frida McFadden because I've heard a lot of people like this, and I feel like mystery thrillers are so much easier to listen to because you don't need to pay that close of attention to it. So I'm gonna buy it for a credit and listen to this and see what I think about it. So last night I finished The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I'm not gonna give like full, I don't know if I'm gonna give full reviews and roundups in this video because I plan on reading like a lot of books, and I feel like this video would legitimately be 2 hours long if I yapped away about each book. But I would say this is 4 stars. I love the twists and turns. Thankfully, when reviewing like a mystery thriller, I feel like especially really short ones, I don't want to say too much. I hate when I'm watching book reviews and they're like, around the halfway mark there's a huge twist and oh my goodness, like I feel like that's kind of giving too much away, you know. Like I don't want to know anything when it comes to mystery thriller. I don't want to know when to like look forward to something, or like when there's a plot twist coming, or like when people are like, oh my gosh, the last page, oh my gosh, the last page, because then you know the whole point of a plot twist is that you're not even supposed to see it coming. You're not supposed to know there's something on the last page, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say anything about it. You guys will just have to read it for yourself. I really liked it. I feel like the plot twists were perfect, the shock value. She'll say something and you'll be like, what, go back, because you're like piecing putting the pieces together. I really liked it. I feel like there was a good storyline, a good plot. It wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too like, this just does not even make sense. So yeah, I liked this one more than I liked Never Lie. So there we go. I would say it's a 4 star, but I have now 2 more credits on Audible. So I think I'm gonna listen to The Inmate while I am cleaning again today. I'm doing like a little mid-year reset on the house. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start this and clean. It's the same day and I have an hour 25 left on The Inmate. This is told through a then now timeline, and the FMC works at the prison, and it's very interesting. I wonder how the ending of this one will be, because to me right now it seems so obvious that it's almost like not very mysterious or thrilling. But one thing about Frida McFadden is she somehow will always shock you at the end. So I'm hoping that this one is just as shocking, because this, like on Audible, I went through like the highest rated, like most popular, and this was pretty high up there. So I know that it's probably gonna shock me, but right now I'm just like, isn't it obvious? Either way, I'm really enjoying it, and always in like the last hour is when it gets the most juicy and exciting. So I'm enjoying it. And I also love the then now timeline from like when they were in high school and then now as adults. Perfect. I just finished The Inmate, and we're doing reading sprints in the book club. So it's really like, I'm really zooming because of the reading sprints. It's so nice. I would rate The Inmate probably 3 stars, because the FMC is very like, oh, just chalks everything up to coincidence. She's like one of those girls when you're watching like a scary movie, she goes into the house or she stays in the house. She doesn't run away. She goes towards the drama, towards the bad guy, and then it's like, no way, there's no way it's happening. Like, girl, your car keys are literally missing. Where do you think they went? Girl, there's literally tire tracks and footprints outside your house. Whose do you think those are? Like, wake up, get up. Like, literally the whole time I'm reading, I'm like, girl, get up. And I feel like when there's FMCs that are like that, it just makes it very unrealistic. And I can read an unrealistic book, okay? I read fantasy. But even fantasy can make it to where it's like, this feels real. but The Inmate didn't feel very real to me. I did like it. I did not feel like, I'm not gonna get too much of it. I'm not gonna get too much of it. Anyway, 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like my most favorite. And now we're doing another reading sprint in the book club, and I'm reading It Ends With Us on my Kindle actually, and I have 30 minutes left. Call me crazy, but I kind of really like this book. I like it. Like, I think it's a good book. I feel like Colleen Hoover lovers get dragged on social media, but I hate to say it, but like, I really actually do like the story a lot. I was thinking earlier, like, this has me more hooked than an Emily Henry book, honestly. With Emily Henry, I'd be getting in a book slump, in a reading slump. With this, not feeling slumpish at all. I'm actually can't wait to read the last 30 pages. I don't know, guys. I don't know what that says about me as a 27-year-old woman, and I'm okay with that. But I also have to say, I am only now 15 books behind my schedule on Goodreads, and if I finish this tonight, which I plan on, I will be 14 books behind schedule. I'm just really, really happy about that. So, slay. I think I'm honestly gonna keep doing the Frida McFadden audiobooks, because like, I really like listening to the Frida McFadden audiobooks, and I looked up today how many books she has on audiobook, and there's like 19. And I think I've read 6 of her books so far, and I'm like, wait, I'm kind of eating these up. Like, I love a good mystery thriller while I'm cleaning. I feel like I've almost cleaned my entire house just through Frida McFadden. So this is going great. This is going really great. And according to my schedule, today I'm supposed to finish book 3, which if I finish, which I'm going to, what's that one? If I finish It Ends With Us tonight, then I will be done with book 3 right there. So great, it's going great. 15 books behind schedule, and I'm currently listening to The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. I am really just vibing with Frida McFadden lately. I don't know what it is. And then I also started another paperback called Pines by Blake Crouch, which is actually on my TBR. I bought these on my latest trip to Barnes. Oh, why is that making? Oh, okay. It's a 3-book little series. This one is Pine, so the one I'm reading, and it's really short. It probably is going to take me like 4 hours total to read it, and I feel like the writing is very simple. Basically, there's a Secret Service agent, and he has been sent on a mission because there's 2 other agents that are missing in this town called Wayward Pines that probably only has like a population of like 400, 500 people. But as you're reading it, it feels very like fever dream-esque, because he's just like hurt. There's a lot of confusion. People are answering him in very weird ways. Like, he goes to the sheriff's office, and then the sheriff like gets mad at him because they don't like the Secret Service to be there, and then continues like give him really weird answers. He goes to the hospital and then like leaves the hospital because he's like, okay, I'm done being here. Like, I need to find my cell phone. Like, why can't anybody get in contact with my wife? Like, what is happening? One time he's told that like she's on her way, and then another time they're like, we don't know, like we spoke to her but we don't know where she's at. He can't find his phone. He can't remember cell phone numbers, and like as he's leaving the hospital, no one else is on his floor. And it's just like very weird. Like, I really don't even know what's happening, but I think that that's what makes it kind of fun. Blake Crouch, she's actually on my August TBR Resurgent. It feels very mystery-esque. He can't get out of this town. Like, he can't figure out a way to get out because he can't remember enough. And it's just been very interesting so far. So I am probably like 25% way through this, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Goodreads, why are you not helping me? No, quiet down! Don't do that. I'm there. Whenever you're there, I'm there.
I have officially finished Pines. I think that was the last update. So I've read Pines, Ward D, The Perfect Son. Pines, I think I would probably give it 3.5, maybe 4 stars. I really liked it. I'm having, like, I don't know, it was just kind of a difficult book to get into. It started a little bit slow for me, but I think that's because there's not a bunch of scenes. It's more so fewer scenes, but more drawn out. It wasn't, I was like hooked. I don't know. It was an interesting read. I did like it, but I also felt very uncomfortable the whole time I read it because the main character is like in a shambles. Like he basically can't tell what is real and what's not real. And anytime you're reading a book like that, you just feel so confused along with them. I am now, let me check my reading challenge, 12 books behind schedule. I'm so happy about that. I'm currently listening to Friends, Lovers, and the Big, what is it called? And the Big Terrible Thing. This is Matthew Perry's memoir. And I really like it so far. I had no idea that when he was like 30 to 60 days old, he was given a barbiturate, phenobarbital. And I think that that's kind of what he blames his addiction on, is like being given that hard of a drug at such a young age over being colicky. Like that is crazy that when babies were colicky, parents used to like give their kids alcohol, like cough medicine, Benadryl, just like get them to go to sleep. And he said that when he was a baby, like he would be given the phenobarbital and like would literally just like pass out. And his parents were like so relieved about it. What's up? The key for me reaching my reading goal so far has been having a physical book and also an audiobook, so that if I'm not able to physically read, I am listening. Like anytime I'm doing laundry, cleaning, cooking, I have my audiobook going. I do think I'm reaching a little bit of my breaking point. Like last night, I finally sat down and just watched TV and was like, I have to give myself a break from so much reading. I'm probably gonna read like 20 books this month. It's actually kind of terrifying, but now I see how people reach their goal so quickly. They are just like reading nonstop. Like they literally, if you aren't sitting down reading a physical book, you have an audiobook going. Let me have it, babe. You want me to do it? That has been the key. If you are trying to read more, the fact of the matter is you have to have a book going at all times. And it actually has helped me a lot. Also reading Frida McFadden has been so fun. Like the quick mystery thrillers, you can read them, like they're so easy to understand. You do not need a lot of brain power. That's another reason I really like them. With Matthew Perry's memoir, I am listening to it on a slower speed because I don't think it's a book that you like rush through. I think in order to really feel his emotion through it, you can't speed it up too much, but I feel like with his voice, a 1.2, 1.5 is the perfect speed for his voice. And then I also started 7 Days in June yesterday. I heard that this is like it's a romance and they're writing letters back and forth to each other. I think that's a really cute concept. Only thing is I did not know that she is like an erotica writer, not Tia Williams, but the female main character in this book. And so I'm a little bit nervous for where this is gonna go. I'm only 5% in, and then the girls in the book club are doing a reading sprint, so I just joined that. And I'm just gonna chill outside, watch my kids swim, and read 7 Days in June. And I'm really, really hoping I like it. Like really hoping. So we'll see. That's my reading goal update. This book is so sad right now. I'm almost done. I have 17 minutes left and I'm on chapter 10, which is The Big Terrible Thing. And oh my goodness, like it's just, it's heartbreaking. I cannot believe I'm crying so much over this book. I'm shocked. I have now 4 minutes left, so almost done. I feel like this end is gonna really be the saddest part. Okay, I finished Matthew Perry's Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. I'm doing really great because I think today is the 10th of August, yeah, and I finished one book every single day this month. That is actually crazy. I don't know how I'm doing it. I'm just plowing through. But wow, this is definitely a 5-star for me. First of all, I did not think I was gonna cry. Second of all, like I'm not a huge actor actress person. Like, I know some of the main ones, and like I enjoy movies and stuff, but I'm not like a huge know-it-all. Like, I have not watched all the classics. I normally have to like look up people on my phone to even know what movies they were in the past or whatever. So I've never been like a huge, I mean, I like Friends, you know, I've talked about Friends, I've posted about Friends, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, Friends, like I love it. I just decided to read this because it was like one of the top rated memoirs on Audible. First of all, knowing that since he's written this, he has passed, but also hearing his voice tell his story just heightens the emotion so much. And then on top of that, I'm like, everybody knows about his addiction, but to hear him talk about the depths of the addiction and how he got to a certain point where he was just at the end of himself. Like, he got to the point in his addiction where he couldn't even take enough drugs to feel a high anymore. And he was just saying, like, there's not very many people that are able to reach that point because of how expensive the drugs are. And like the access that you need to be able to have to get that amount of drugs. So he's like a very small percentage of people on earth that will ever experience basically becoming immune to the drugs because he can't take enough to get a high anymore. Like, that's just like a crazy point to get to. Also made me wonder how much money he spent in his lifetime on drugs and alcohol. Like, probably millions of dollars, right? Like, it has to be, because he said at a certain point he was taking like 55 pills a day. It's crazy. I don't want to spoil anything, but wow. And then I did not know that Matthew Perry was a professing Christian and talked so much in this book about how like God met him when he was at his lowest of lows. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. And like that he just has to believe in something bigger than himself, because he knew that if it were up to him, he would not even be alive. Such a beautiful story. So sad. I feel like it paints such a better picture and sheds such a light on what people with addictions actually go through and the illness that it actually is. And it's not a self-control thing. It's not even a rehab thing. Like, for some people, it's just, it doesn't come down to self-control or rehab, or like for some people it will be a lifelong battle, and that is like just really sad. I need to just sit with this for a little bit, but I'll see you guys tomorrow to pick our next book because I need to finish a whole nother book tomorrow. Almost read 50 books out of 100. Like, I cannot believe that. And I'm now 11 books behind schedule, which is great, fantastic, amazing news. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm currently reading 7 Days in June, like I told you guys, on my Kindle. I made it to 26% last night. It's a little bit of a longer book, so I think it actually is going to probably take me like today and tomorrow to finish reading it realistically. So that means I also need to have an audiobook going on at the same time. Guys, truly, I think that's the hack to like finishing more reading, especially because I am so behind, to have some quick audiobooks. Oh, I forgot, I also found this quote from Matthew Perry's book that I put in my review on Goodreads. Not me misspelling God in my review. God had shown me a sliver of what life could be. He had saved me that day, and for all days, no matter what. He had turned me into a seeker, not only of sobriety and truth, but also of him. Oh, that was such a good memoir. Like, I really like that. So I'm gonna go, I don't know if I'm in the mood for another Freedom McFadden. I listened a little bit to Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, just because he's such a like iconic actor, especially in rom-coms and stuff that I grew up watching. So I was kind of looking into that, but honestly, for some reason, I don't really care about his story. And I feel like with memoirs, if you don't care at all about their story, like, you're just gonna feel like they're very self-centered, because obviously they're just sitting there for anywhere between like 5 to 10 hours just talking about themselves, and it can just feel very like, why are they talking about this and why am I reading this? And I don't want to feel that way, because especially because I know some people feel like they can't give memoirs under 5 stars. I kind of feel that way too, though. I kind of feel like I can't give somebody's life story like 2 stars, but I also feel like you can rate it lower because maybe the flow isn't right, the timing isn't right. the timeline doesn't make sense, or it's just like jumping back and forth. I did see a lot of people say that about Matthew Perry's book, is that like they couldn't pay, like, I don't know, it just seemed confusing. But I saw it as like, it was kind of like a childhood timeline and a now timeline, like his adult life now timeline. And I didn't find it hard to follow at all. Like, I feel like it actually made a lot of sense, but everybody, you know, obviously has their own reading experiences. So maybe I would rate a memoir lower stars. I guess we'll have to wait and see if I ever do rate a memoir under 5 stars. I think I might read another Frida McFadden. I'll let you know. I started, what is this called? I literally just started it. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. A lot of people are talking about this right now. It's in the mystery thriller section on Audible, and it's like top rated right now. Like, it's one of the most listened to audiobooks. So I was like, let me see how I feel about it. I listened to a preview of it, and I was like, this narrator sounds very familiar. Oh, it's by Liz Moore. I've never listened to anything by her, but well, who's it narrated by? Can you see that? Saskia Oh, she narrated First Lie Wins. Okay, that makes sense, because I was laying down, falling asleep, and I was like, I've heard this girl's voice before. Like, I know her. First Lie Wins. That's cool that they do it like that so you can see. Also, oh, that's actually so cool, is you can see if you like her voice, you can see what other books she narrated. Wait, that's such a good thing to know, because I feel like a lot of us are all kind of picky, our narrators for our audiobooks. Wow, okay, that makes it so much easier. And I really like her I really like her voice. Anyway, I was giggling to myself as I was falling asleep, because literally doing this reading goal video is making it to where I basically have to be reading or listening to a book at every waking moment of my day. And so I have not been scrolling social media or anything. I have been getting, my brain has been getting a little bit tired. Actually, let me chop up some potatoes while I talk to y'all, because it's dinner time. We had pizza last night. Go away. Hey, no, put the cat down. Anyway, my brain has been getting a little bit tired, and so I'll take a break and watch some Grey's Anatomy, or just stop listening altogether, because it does kind of get like, wow, I've been intaking a lot of information. But then on the other end, after I take my little break, I'm like, oh, I need my pacifier, essentially. Like, earlier, I was trying to go to sleep, but I was like, I can't go to sleep unless I'm listening to a book. Like, what do you mean? I need my pacifier. I need my headphones. So that's also, is that good or not good? I don't know, but it's essentially, like, my Kindle used to be my pacifier, but now my Kindle's my pacifier, but also like my audiobook, because I've been listening to the audiobook. Like, when I take a nap, I will go to sleep to the audiobook, and then when I go to sleep at night, I go to sleep like with my Kindle in my hand, take my glasses off, and then make the font huge so I could read without my glasses. And that's how I've been falling asleep every day this month, because I've read a book so far every day this month. I think I'm gonna break that streak today, because this audiobook is pretty long. For this video, I've been trying to choose shorter books, but this audiobook is 14 hours and 35 minutes, which is like 3 times longer than the ones I've been listening to before. But I feel like I'm really gonna like it. It has 4.5 stars and almost 1,000 ratings. I'm liking it so far. I need to get my headphones and listen to it while I make dinner.
We have to be removed. The door frame we have to be carefully repaired. Peter noticed everything about the house.
Class would not be serious. Other professions, you don't get all.
Yeah, and once you've been exposed, period, be careful.
This flowers. It wasn't there last summer. Living with Rob, sitting with self-psychologist, what my supervisor. She was quickly.
would you guys believe me if I told you I'm still 12 books behind my reading goal, and today is September 9th. So here's the update. Here are all of the books I've read since I last saw you guys, and I am still 12 books behind schedule. And you know what I realized my problem is that I've actually stretched it out too long, because the longer I stretch it out, so say I stretch it out over 4 weeks, for my original 100 book goal, I have to be reading 2 books a week to just keep up with that alone. And then we stack on top of that all of the books I'm behind. So if I'm behind 17 books, I have to be reading to catch up, but then also the original 2 that I need to be reading every week. And so I would catch up, like literally I checked a few days ago and I was 9 books behind schedule. I just checked and I'm already 12 books behind schedule, and that's because I haven't read, I think I've only finished 1 book in September so far, and I think at this point I should be on like book 3 or 4. And that's because every 2 weeks, or every week, I need to be reading 2 books. I can't believe somebody's doing gardening right now, actually. So what I did is I went to my bookshelves and I pulled out my smallest books possible, and we're just going to like try to pump these out over hopefully the next 4 days, and we'll just see if I could do that, you know, because like each of these books should only take about an hour, 2 hours to read. So maybe I can read 4 books a day for the next 4 days. I don't know why, but I feel like I could do it. I feel like I could. So anyway, this is almost like part 2 of the same video, because my initial approach was not really working. It was, but it's just taking too long for the amount of books I'm behind on. So that's my goal, is just to get it over with, so then I can spend the rest of September enjoying the books that I like actually really want to read, like the Nightingale, Kristen Hanna books, like chunkier books that are going to take me a few days. Because that was my problem with last month. If you watched my wrap up, is I did listen to a lot of audiobooks trying to catch up to this goal, and I did probably bump up, because I think I was 19 books behind schedule, right? So I did catch up by 7 books, plus the 2 books I have to be reading every week anyway. So I'm gonna try this. This is a different approach, you know. This is gonna be find the shortest books freaking possible off your shelves and binge read those in a shorter amount of time. So we're gonna do that. And I think I might hop in the pool. Alani sent me some pool floaties, so I'm going to blow those up and get to reading. I decided to start So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan. I read another book before. I read another book by her before this called Small Things Like These, and I really, really enjoyed it. They're all pretty short stories. They're like 118 pages, but just a lot of meaning, a lot of depth, and I believe the last one was historical fiction. I will have to check, but the premise was really, really interesting. As is the premise of this one. So I'm gonna hop in the pool before the sun goes down too much and try to read as much of this as I can. And I'm honestly kind of hoping I finish it tonight. It's chilly. It's really cold, guys. How are you swimming in this?
It will make you go But not funny because I'm right close, and it would have been.
Oh, what if
And
it would have been funny because
It's right here.
Okay, I did not finish So Late in the Day last night because I was watching TV. I was watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and then I had to catch up on The Perfect Couple coming out on Netflix. But anyway, I'm now 54% through So Late in the Day. And so far I'm really liking it, but you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me so much of Normal People by Sally Rooney. Like, it is reminding me so much of that in the best way. Just like, it's kind of quirky, it's kind of odd. The way it's written is not like in typical fashion. I'm really, really liking it. I didn't really read the synopsis that much. All I saw was that she ends up with a guy that almost like abducts her and is like super controlling. So I guess I'm still waiting on that part, but basically they are like engaged to be married, and he's just like really terrible. Like, he's not nice at all. And then we kind of get a little bit into like his background, his upbringing. But I need to look at like what this writing style is called, because it doesn't follow like their traditional way a story is normally told. And sometimes I like that, just to kind of shake up the layout that we get in most novels that we read. But either way, right now I'm really liking it, and I cannot wait to see what happens. It's the same day, I just changed, but I just finished so late in the day. And okay, I really liked it, but I also should have read the synopsis because it's 3 separate stories. And when I gave my update in the pool, I was just started section 2, book 2, whatever it's called. And I was like, wait, so did we just switch to her POV? It was kind of unclear, but I was like, I think I'll just figure it out as I keep reading it. And then as I kept reading, I was like, this is like a completely different story. So then I read the synopsis, and sure enough, it is 3 separate stories. And I actually think I really enjoyed that even more than if it was just all one story. And what's fun about this one is it's all about like the intricacies and experiences that men and women have with each other. Each story probes the dynamics that corrupt what could be between women and men, a lack of generosity, the weight of expectation, the looming threat of violence. And so I really, really like this. It makes you think. There are lots of good underlinable parts. There are lots of parts that make you kind of stop in your tracks and you're like, oh, wait, you're right. And so yeah, I really like this. I don't know if I have a rating for this though. It's such a tiny little thing, 118 pages, that it's kind of weird to rate. But like, I wouldn't change anything about it. So would that be a 5-star, or like, I don't know, or that would be 4 stars? I don't know. I'm unsure because I just finished it. I kind of need to think about it. But I think next I want to read Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I really want to read this for fall. Also, I love this cover. And I mean, I'm sure all of us have watched the movie at this point. This is 192 pages. And so we're going to see if I can finish this today. I am now, let me update my Goodreads. So if you guys don't follow me on Goodreads, here's my little shameless plug to follow me on there, because obviously I keep everything up to date and it's fun to see what you guys are reading as well. Okay, so because I just finished so late in the day, I am 10 books behind schedule. Okay. Yeah, I have to get ready. I have to get my kids ready for soccer, but I need to like be reading constantly. So my library had the Amendment available, which is the second book in the Arrangement series. It's basically about a couple and their marriage is like falling apart. And so she recommends her husband, like they make this arrangement, you know, and so you're kind of following that. And then this is the second book in that series, and they're super short. Like, this is a 6-hour audiobook, and I listened to it on 2x speed because the narrator is honestly very slow. So I'm just gonna listen to that while I get my kids ready. Currently listening to Mother-Daughter Murder Night because I finished Coraline earlier today, and then I also finished the Amendment that I was listening to, which is the second book in the Arrangement series. I think it's called the Arrangement series. That's what I'm calling it in my head. It's going good. I'm hoping to finish Mother-Daughter Murder Night today so that I can have finished 3 books today. And then hopefully I think we'll be like 8 books behind schedule, which is a good place to be. But Coraline, I think I'm gonna give Coraline maybe 4 stars. I really enjoyed it considering it is a children's book, but I've always loved the Coraline movie. I've watched it so many times since it's come out. Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought, considering when I was shopping for this at Barnes, I couldn't even find it because it is a children's story. And then the version they have in Barnes is different from this version. So I will link like down below the exact version I have from Amazon. on my Amazon storefront. And there are some like a little bit of illustrations, but it's mostly just the book, which I really, guys, I really like this. Like, I'm obviously not embarrassed to say because like read what you want. Nobody really cares. It's not that deep, but I'm just surprised at how much I loved it. Because I think with the movie, it can definitely be aged up because the movie is kind of spooky. You know, like I wouldn't even let my kids watch it. So I was thinking that the book was going to be too childish, but I feel like it's perfectly spooky and mysterious without being like actually scary as an adult. Again, I would not read this to my children. Okay, it's a children's book, but I would not read this to my kids. But anyway, 4 stars. I really liked it. Perfect amount of spook. Perfect amount of spook. And I love the cat. The cat is actually probably my favorite character in the entire book. Like, the cat was so cute and funny and witty. Okay, and then The Amendment. I just finished listening to that. I think I would give that 3 stars. Like, it was solid. I would recommend it. I don't know that you need to like go out and buy the physical copy of the book. I feel like listening to it, it's 6 hours. And I listen to my audiobooks on like, I don't know, it depends, like 1.5, anywhere from 1.5 to 3 times speed. So even if I listen to it on 2 times speed, that is a 3-hour audiobook. Like, I just listen to it, get it on Libby or whatever through your library. And I liked it. I would recommend it, but it wasn't like anything mind-blowing or crazy, but it is the perfect book to get you caught up to your reading goal, again, because it is so short. And it's also very interesting because she does the thing too where there's lots of plot twists, and or at least one good solid one. And so you're excited to get to the end to see what her little twist is going to be. And I also love this because they are so petty. The couple in the books, they're so petty towards each other. It's so funny. The only other mystery thriller that I've really read a lot of is Frida McFadden. And she doesn't really make her characters very petty, but she does a lot of plot twists. So I liked seeing a mystery thriller book where the couple is so petty. It made it really enjoyable and honestly funny. That's where I am so far. I'm gonna keep listening to Mother Daughter Murder Night. If you don't know what that one's about, when I first saw this on Libby, I thought it was gonna be the mother-daughter duo going out and murdering, what was that noise? And murdering people. But actually, like if I would have looked on the cover, they're peeking through blinds because the mom has cancer, the daughter is taking care of her, and there's like a murder that is happening outside of where she lives. So I guess there's a murderer that moves in. I don't know, I'm not to this point yet, so I don't know if he moves in, if he already lives there. I might be a woman. And because she has cancer, she's like having a hard time sleeping and stuff. So she's like always up in the middle of the night when she's seeing sketchy stuff happening, and she has a pair of binoculars. So she's just like basically nosy. Another thing I thought was interesting is like typically when you hear mother-daughter duo, when you see mother-daughter duo where one of them has cancer and the other one becomes like the caretaker, the mom I feel like is normally super sweet and nice, but the mom in this is like she's so I don't know what you would call her, but she's just like not awesome. Like she's I want to say a douche, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know if I should say that. But yeah, she's just not nice, and she's very prissy and entitled. She's a real estate agent in LA, and she's like Queen Bee, but because she's gotten sick, she's like not Queen Bee anymore. And yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I definitely thought she was going to be like a really sweet mom who's like sick, but no, that's not the case. So anyway, I'm enjoying it, but I will say one of the worst things that I'm experiencing with this book so far is that I'm not getting like into the story. Like I don't feel engulfed by it. I don't feel like I'm in it yet. I feel like I will be listening for like 10 minutes and be like, I wasn't listening at all. You know what I mean? Because I'm not actually in the story. I am only 6% in, 42 minutes in. So obviously I'm going to keep listening, but I am a little bit worried that it's not going to keep my attention. So we'll see. I'm going to work on my reading journal while I'm sitting here because I read so many books last month, and this month I've already read, today's the 11th, and I've read 6 books so far. This will be my 7th, and we're only 11 days in, so I need to start updating my reading journal before it gets away from me because I haven't even finished updating August yet. So that's my plan for the night. So someone had asked me how I use this. This is called a die cut, and it's really cool because you can send through these silver dies and they cut out the paper in whatever shape you have. So I have not used this very much. I think I've only used it a handful of times so far, but I will show you guys how I do my letters. So I did my letters for my August spread in my reading journal like this, and I like it because it has the stitching around the edge. So I'm gonna do the same thing for September and just take out my letters. And then I think I'm also gonna use, I'm trying to decide if I wanna do the gingham paper or just the yellow paper. I think I might do the gingham because that's cuter. Okay, so I put the letters on this clear thing, and then I'm pretty sure I do the paper upside down, and then this part goes on top, and then you, I put it down on the table the wrong way, but roll it through. Make some noises. All of your letters. Only thing that kind of stinks, I need some tweezers so I can get my letters out, because right now I have to use this little pencil to get the letters out of here because they stick. And then this is what the letters will look like. So I'm just gonna do that to all of them. Doing some journaling, but listen to this.
Where are you? Monterey Bay. Near Carmel. Andre let out a long exhale. Oh, thank God. Here I was thinking you were stuck somewhere awful, like a Siberian prison or Bakersfield. He paused. Wait, are you getting one of the...
Okay, I'm still listening to Mother-Daughter Murder Night. I was planning on finishing last night, but I didn't have time, and I had like 2 hours left in it, but I was just updating my reading goal. So this is how close I am to 100 books. Not that many more lines, which I'm excited about. And then I also updated my bar chart for August and my star rating for our book club book of the month last month. And then what else did I do? So I updated my August reads. I made this little flap, and then I'm gonna do the same one for, I'm gonna do the same thing right here. I just haven't printed out the book. I'll do that next time. And then I made my September TBR page. It's so pretty, I love that. And then I started adding in the books that I've read so far for September, but I am missing some, but I'll do those at a later date. So for the most part, it's pretty updated. Now, if you guys watch my hobby video, I bought these photo albums because I have some photos from my childhood that I want to put in these albums. So I'm gonna start doing that.
And I can do the right dance. Mom said, be chuckle. That's my girl. Business. Fly away.
Okay, I finished Mother-Daughter Murder Night. Finally, I feel like that was like such a long story. I do feel like if I would have read the physical copy of it, I would have probably DNF'd it. I don't know what my rating is for that one yet. I think I need to sit on it for a second. I feel like I'm just reading so fast at this point that I need to like have time to kind of think about my ratings. But it wasn't bad. It did drag on a little bit. A lot of people say that it's like supposed to be cozy mystery, which I definitely did feel that way. And if you have any tasks that are going to take a long time to complete, it is like a fun story to listen to because it kind of tells in a true crime kind of way versus a, like, for comparison, like a Frida McFadden. Like, they read completely opposite. And for that reason, I actually did like it because I think I read so much Frida McFadden last month that I'm a little bit burnt out. It wasn't like, I didn't feel suspense like while I was reading it, but I guess it's not a suspense, it's a mystery. So, and it was mysterious. And I did really enjoy listening to it while I was scrapbooking and reading, journaling, and getting my photos together. So I think right now I'm at like a 3.5 even. I just don't think that it's going to be something I really ever think about very often. So, I don't know. Do with that what you will. I am now going to start Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I think that this was translated to English from Japanese, so I'm interested to see what it's about. I love the cover of it. It's so beautiful. And again, it's short. It's 139 pages. So I'm kind of hoping I can finish this before I have to take my kids to soccer. So lovely. Okay, I'm taking a little break from Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. I'm really liking it so far. I'm on chapter 5, so I've just now gotten to like the drama of it all, but I need to make dinner before we go to Bible study. So I'm actually gonna switch to audio, and I don't want to start a new audiobook because I'm currently in the middle of too many audiobooks, honestly. I had like, does anybody ever do this where you just like have a Libby day and you just like go crazy on Libby and borrow and place way too many holds on way too many books? That's me right now. So I just need to focus on what I already have borrowed. One of those being Viola Davis's memoir. So I'm going to listen to that. Let's see how far I am. I'm about halfway through the book. The only hard part about listening to this one, I like listening to it because you get her voice, but I also like having the physical copy of this one because there are so many things that I have highlighted and really, really like. Like, I feel like every page, every other page about, I've highlighted something or liked something. So that's the hard part about listening to it, is as soon as I hear a good part, I like running to my book to like underline it so I don't forget. So that's the catch. So anyway, I'm gonna try to cook dinner and listen to this. We'll see how it goes. I don't even know what last clip you guys saw, but I do know it's the next day and I've made quite the progress. You guys will be proud of me. So over here is where I keep my TBR for the month. Normally it is not this huge, but this is just kind of what we're working with this month because I'm trying to get a lot of books done. But once I finish a book, I move it to this shelf down here. So far this month, I've actually read like 9 books so far. I guess the other ones are on my Kindle or something. I don't know. I probably need to go through my Notion and Goodreads. But I finished Finding Me last night. And then I also just now finished Days at the Morisaki Bookshop while I was in the shower. I will not lie. I'm going to grab my bookmark out of here. And I think that's all I finished so far. I think next I'm going to start I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And I'm also going to pick a bookmark. I feel like this one is cute with it. Yeah, I feel like that's cute. And I'm also going to pick a pen to underline with. I might want to try this one actually. This Zebra Fine Liner. I'm going to try that. If I don't like that, I'm going to use a blue Papermate Inkjoy gel pen. That's my next book. I will say these 2 books, I actually need to do my hair because I just took the most beautiful everything shower. I feel like I start my period and this is my go-to outfit. I will always be in a Skims t-shirt and I bought these shorts specifically for my period because like they're cute, you know, like they're cute-ish. They're huge because I like sized up in them. But they aren't like tight on my stomach in any way, and so it's just so comfortable. today's also Saturday, which means we had soccer Saturday. So I am just like absolutely spent and dehydrated. After Kai Guy's game, it was like 100 degrees outside and we were walking back to the car. I legitimately thought I was going to, because I was like, I think I would have like heat exhaustion. It's been a long day. Anyway, I'm going to do my hair and talk to you guys about how I felt about Finding Me and days at the Murasaki bookshop. So for Finding Me, that is my new favorite book of all time. Like, I actually feel like it should be required reading. And I think what's interesting is I actually related to the book so much, and I think that's why I loved it so much. I of course did my Goodreads check after I finished and like had my thoughts together to see like what everybody else thought. Obviously, I mean, even if you like hate memoirs, I feel like you would still like it because her story is so powerful. And like, if you love an underdog story, it's beautiful. It's everything I could have ever asked for. And then I think just based on that, I would have loved it. But I think the fact that I found so many parts of it just so relatable is, one, incredibly sad, but also incredibly comforting, knowing that a woman as respected and well-rounded and intelligent as Viola Davis just kind of assured me that like my way of thinking, I'm onto something. Like I'm onto something. My way of tracking the things that have happened to me and how I feel about them is in line with like, maybe not even the majority, but at least someone out there. At least someone out there understands how I would feel or how I have come to think about certain things that I went through. When I tell you, like I showed you guys, I think last clip you saw, there are so many parts that I highlighted and underlined and just like was so shocked. The photos, I feel like there's not very many people's baby photos or like childhood photos or photos from growing up that you would care to even see or like be like, I don't, you know, I feel like most people's, if somebody tried to show me their baby photos, I'd be like, oh cute, but like I wouldn't really care. But the fact that Viola told her story so beautifully that like I actually wanted to see the photos that she included in the book. And it's just, it literally is such a, oh my gosh, like I don't even know where to start with it because like it's so nuanced and there's so many aspects to it. But I think overall my favorite part of it is this. For those of us who we almost didn't get a childhood because of the things we experienced in childhood, because of the traumas, we then have to find ourselves, figure out who we are in our adult lives. I don't think that's a super, super common occurrence, but for those of us that get it, we get it. And I am not saying I had nearly as terrible a childhood as Viola Davis, okay? She has me beat by a long shot. But what I love about her story is she's not even playing the comparison game. She's not saying, oh, if you've had it as bad as me, then you'll relate to this story. She's actually saying, like, anybody can relate to this story, and I love that so much. Like, someone who's had it hard, but she also doesn't want, like, pity. She also doesn't want us to read the story and just feel bad for her. She, like, wrote this story for the reader as well, and I think that is so beautiful, especially considering how she had no privilege growing up. Like there was zero privilege in her upbringing, and yet even in her memoir, even in a story that is about her life, she is thinking about the reader and the people that are going to read her story and giving us encouragement. Like that, even that is just a testament, I think, to her character and the woman that she has become despite her circumstances. And it's so interesting, actually, because I was just like crying to Kaylin about this, because when you are the first person in your family to do something, you carry a burden along with that. Although you are happy to have succeeded despite your circumstances, there's still a daily weight that comes with that. And like, that's not easy. That's not an easy burden to carry. And she dealt with that as well. And so, yeah, I just find the timing, I think, of it so refreshing and fascinating, because I was literally just talking to Kaylin about it. Like, although, yes, I am blessed to be a blessing, that does not mean it's always easy and without burden. And sometimes it's just good to get that off your chest, and it's sometimes good to just read other people's stories and kind of see yourself in it and feel comforted by the fact that you're not the only one who, you know, has gone through XYZ. And even there's people who've had it worse than you, and like, look at what a beautiful story she has written for herself and carved out for herself, of her own volition. Like, there's nobody who came and raised her and taught her how to be. Like, everything that she is, she taught herself. And so it is officially my second 6-star read ever in my life, for different reasons. Obviously, it's not fiction, it's a memoir, but wow, I just found it so well written, so well done. Like, it did not feel like just another celebrity memoir. Like, it felt real. Wow, I'm just blown away by it. And I've had it on my bookshelf for so long, but I think with my family living with me now, I'm actually so glad it took me a long time to get to it, because I don't know if it would have hit as hard as it did. It would have definitely hit, but it's hitting even harder considering the sacrifices I have made just this year, regarding family. And so, yeah, 6 stars. Like, wow. Shout out to her. My official favorite book of all time. I cannot even believe it. Now, my thoughts regarding Days at the Murasaki Bookshop. So this, like I said, is translated from Japanese to English, and it's a short little read. I'm having such a hard time talking right now because I'm literally so tired. Like, I literally think I had heat exhaustion because I feel so like weird. Anyway, let me calm down. I had kind of a weird experience with it because on one end, I absolutely did really like the story. About halfway through, I was like, okay, this is actually really interesting. And I almost wanted to go to Goodreads to see what everyone else was saying about it, but I held off because I wanted to gather my own thoughts, like come to my own conclusion before I like read anybody else's opinion. So I finished it. That's okay. I went on Goodreads, and it's interesting because I agree with both the good reviews and the not so good reviews. Like, I understand totally where everyone's coming from. I think that you just need to know what you're going into when you go into the book. Like, the writing is very simplistic, and it's not the translation. It's genuinely, the writing is just very simple. None of the characters are very fleshed out. I mean, it's like a 150-page book. So you can't go into it thinking that it's going to be like the coziest bookstore, like well-rounded characters. Like, it's not gonna give Emily Henry, you know, like it's giving almost like short story, which is fine, but you just kind of got to know when you're going into it. That being said, I really liked it for what it was. I found it interesting, and even at the parts where it kind of lulled for me, because it's not super dramatic. So we're following a girl who, her boyfriend has just like randomly announced that he's actually getting married to a different girl, and she's like, what? And yeah, basically their relationship was not exclusive, and she's like, okay, I guess I didn't know that. And she's also his coworker. So she quits her job, moves, she quits her job and leaves, and then her uncle gives her a call and is like, hey, come stay with me. And so you do get some, like, there are deep parts of the story that I definitely think people would find relatable and really like, but there's not like a great progression of the story. It's kind of like she gets to her uncle's, and then like there's like a little bit of time between him getting like deep with her and the introduction of him. Like, there's not that many pages between it. Sometimes it can feel a bit choppy and kind of like hoppy from like kind of all over the place. And like for one moment we're focusing on our uncle, then suddenly we're focusing on our aunt, then we're back to the boyfriend, and then we're back to the best friend. And so it it's an interesting read, and I definitely think I would recommend it if you're looking for just like something short and cozy. I don't know star rating wise, like if I would give it like a 3 or a 4. I don't know. I never read a book like it. I don't think I've ever read a translated book. So I'm having kind of a hard time like finding a category for it in my brain. I think maybe once I get to my monthly wrap up, I might have it like more settled in, because I did literally just finish it when I was in the shower. Does anybody else read in the shower? I could find it quite enjoyable considering the iPhones, most of them I think, or all of them, are waterproof. So, you know, get on that. I did like it. I liked it. But it wasn't like the most profound thing, but it also wasn't like terrible. I actually think I enjoyed it. I'm trying to compare it to like my other 3-star rated books. Let me look. Actually, yeah, I would put it in the 3-star category with like Check and Mate, Once Upon a Broken Heart, Funny Story by Emily Henry, After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley, The Castaways by Ellen Hildebrand. Like, yeah, I would say I liked it just about that much. I don't think I would actually put it with a 4-star now that I think about it. But I did really like it, and I recommend it. Okay, anyway, so now I'm gonna start. OMG, I'm tired, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm like, literally, what is wrong with me? I'm gonna start I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I also just borrowed it at my library so I could listen to it. I'm back on my Libby grind. I'm happy to say I don't know why I always forget about my Libby app and continually purchase audiobooks on Audible. Why do I forget that I can listen to audiobooks on my Libby app? Like, why do I forget that? It's the most expensive mistake a person can make. Anyway, I'm gonna start this, and it's only 6 hours of audio, so I feel like I can finish it today. And while I do that, I'm going to paint my toenails because they're atrocious. I just got some new stuff from Essie, like this. It's like a jelly polish. It's supposed to look like jelly nails. And then a little top coat, some cuticle oil. I think this is new, like they came out with a rollerball cuticle oil. Pretty cool. And then I also got some new like little cuticle nippers and stuff from Amazon. You guys, these are so nice. Like I've done my own cuticles at home since I was, I think, 7th grade. These are the best ones I've ever used in my life. They're so smooth and so sharp. Like, I can't believe I've been using my crusty dusty old ones. So I will link this in my Amazon. I got all the Essie stuff from Amazon too, so I'll just link it on there. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I've already made it to chapter 7, and I really like this polish. I don't know if you can tell, but it definitely is like jelly-ish. Kind of cool. I finished I'm Glad My Mom Died. I am flying through these books. I'm so happy about it. So what I did was I mostly listened to it and then followed along a little bit in the book. Honestly, this one I didn't find very many parts that I wanted. Actually, there were no parts that I wanted to underline. It's actually pretty easy to just listen to versus the Viola Davis memoir. I loved hearing her voice, but there were so many parts I didn't want to forget about, so I'd have to find the place in the book and underline it. But I would say with I'm Glad My Mom Died, you can definitely just listen to it because it's not a super underlinable story, at least from my experience. But I did really like it. Obviously 5 stars. You get so much more behind the scenes of her life and even just her personality. I definitely thought the ending, there was going to be this like, now everything is great, I'm glad my mom died, I am, free now, and I've learned from, I've gone to therapy, and I've created a new way of thinking, and I thought there was going to be like this lightness at the ending, but I didn't really get that. So then it just kind of makes your heart break for her all over again, because she really did just get her entire childhood and early 20s like taken from her. And honestly, this is like a thing that still kind of haunts her and like follows her. So even like going into her 30s and stuff, it's something that will mark her life forever. And it's like, we only get one life, and that is really, really sad. And I just hope and pray that she's able to find some peace with the parents that she's been given and her experience, because it is very sad. So obviously 5 stars, highly recommend it. Mostly to just support her as a person. I think that's important too. Anyway, so then I last night started another memoir. I don't know why I'm on a memoir kick, but it was available at my library. It's called Hunger by Roxane Gay, and it's all about being like morbidly super obese in the United States, and why, like her story behind her body, why she is obese, how she got there, and what it's like now moving forward being an adult and being extremely overweight, like super, I guess she calls it super obese, or yeah, morbidly super obese, I think is what it's like technically called. So I'm listening to that. I have about 2 more hours left. And then I also started Foster by Claire Keegan, and I am really liking this one. So I kind of went into it blind. So far, I am really liking it. I think I only have like 30 more pages left in it. Sadly, I wish it was longer, because we're following a little girl who, her dad is like, they're in the car driving and he leaves her with these strangers. And he's just kind of like, you can keep her, you can have her, and then leaves her there. And then so we're kind of just following her life now with these new people, these new parents. I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm like, is he gonna come get her, or like what is the situation? Yeah, I don't know. That's all I know. But I kind of wanted to read the synopsis to kind of know more about it. Okay, yeah, it just said, so she's taken by her father to live with relatives on a farm. Okay, not knowing when or if she'll be brought home again. In the Kinsella's house, she finds an affection and warmth she has not known, and slowly in their care begins to blossom. But there is something unspoken in this new household. So I definitely got that. I'm getting this eerie feeling like something bad is about to happen, but I'm trying to like enjoy the story, but I'm also like, is this man gonna do something to her? Like, I'm honestly scared. I was like, wait, I hope this has a happy ending. I'm kind of scared. Between all the memoirs and this, I need a happy ending soon, honestly. Anyway, that's my plan for today. I want to finish this. I want to finish Hunger by Roxane Gay, and I also want to finish another book. I'm just not sure which one it's going to be yet. I did see that I was able to get, I like had it on hold at my library, Noah by Lucinda Berry, and Lucinda Berry is, from my understanding, basically Frida McFadden but better. So I will be the ultimate judger of that, and I was able to get it yesterday on Libby, so I think I might start that and try to finish it today. We'll see. Okay, we're back home from, well, Kaylin had breakfast. I just sat there, finished Foster. Oh my goodness, I really like this one. I wish it was longer, but I'm pretty sure this is 5 stars for me. Like, it is, I know I'm being so annoying, but like, actually some of this is actually like a glimpse at another book she's written. I think Small Things Like These, which I've already read. So it is truly, and like the pages are tiny, like the book is really short. I really like this one. I wish it was longer. Not in a bad way, in a good way. Like, you know, when it's like you leave on such a high that you're like, dang, I wish there was more, but you're also like so happy that there wasn't more, because it genuinely was like the perfect book. I think I've been a lot more gracious with my 5 stars lately. I think because reading is so subjective, and at the end of the day, I think it is a successful book if the author successfully did what they set out to do. And in Foster, although, you know, it's not the most in-depth storyline, it's not the most fleshed out characters or anything like that, but I think it still is a 5 star because the author did what she wanted to do. Like, her goal for the book, she accomplished, and that's a 5 star to me. I also think that in long books, of course, I become super into the characters and stuff, but I think it's cool when authors can do it in only like 90 pages. Like, how did she, I kind of was like not fully crying, but like tearing up a little bit at the end, because you're just like rooting so much for this little girl. And I think that's so cool that an author can do that in so few words, so few pages. So I really liked it, 5 stars. I'm still continuing to listen to Hunger, and I think I have like an hour left. I'm gonna try to finish it before I need to pick up Carter. I'm taking Carter out of school early because he has a pediatrician appointment. So I'm trying to finish it before I have to go get him. And honestly, I don't know that I'm loving it. I am finding it a little bit repetitive. I don't know, just, I guess like she's not saying anything new. So it's kind of making me feel a little bit bored with it and kind of like not wanting to read it. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep finishing it. I'm only halfway through it, so that can obviously change. But, and I did, after I was feeling that way, I did go to Goodreads to see like, am I the only one feeling this way? And no, I think a lot of people have felt that way about this book, of like, it's not really saying anything new, which is okay. Like, it's a memoir. This doesn't have to be some ultra deep work. But when you compare the memoir to Viola Davis's and Jeanette McCurdy's, this one is falling a little bit flat in comparison. And then another thing I do recognize is obviously I can relate a lot more to Jeanette McCurdy's and Viola Davis's more than I can with Roxanne, because the book is about being morbidly obese. But I still do think it's good to listen to other people's stories and kind of be able to see the world through someone else's experience. So I'm gonna keep with it. I am making some chocolate syrup. This is like a family recipe. Growing up, my grandma would spend the night at her house and she would make us biscuits and chocolate syrup or pancakes and chocolate syrup. I crave it sometimes randomly, so I'm making that. If you want to know the recipe, it's so good. It's literally homemade chocolate syrup. So I just do like a bunch of sugar, Hershey's cocoa, splash of water, mix that all up, and you basically wait for the sugar to dissolve. A little bit of vanilla, some butter, and then get it to bubble a little bit so it gets thick. And there you have some homemade chocolate syrup, and it's so good. We dip hot flaky biscuits in it. On a pancake, so good. So good.
I hate my body. I hate my weakness at being unable to control my body. I hate how I feel in my body. I hate how people see my body. I hate how people stare at my body.
I finished my second book of the day. I finished Hunger by Roxane Gay, but I don't have good news because I rated that memoir 2 stars, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm also open to having my mind changed. Like, I don't know if I'm completely right in my stance, but I'll tell you guys my stance right now as it stands. So I used to think like I can't rate a memoir anything but 5 stars because it is somebody's life story, and like, who am I to judge? When it comes to writing style, how a story is told, I feel like I can have opinion and star rating attached to that without attaching it to the character of the story, the person of the story. But now, after reading this memoir and really not resonating with the writing style and the writing in general, I just did not think was very great. I'm like, I think I am gonna rate memoirs because I'm not judging the person or the story. Like, I'm not saying, oh, the story was slow. It's like, okay, well, that's the story. Like, is she supposed to lie to make the story faster? No. So I'm not judging it based on that. I'm just judging it based on like the actual makeup of the story, the actual writing. I also didn't really like it because I felt the audio lacked a lot of emotion. And she says throughout the memoir like how hard it is for her to tell this story. And although I am so glad she's able to get what she could off her chest and share her story, I think, you guys know me, I think there's a lot of power in being self-aware and sharing your story and being bold enough to... My kids are being crazy. Being bold enough to put that story out for millions of people to judge based on, you know, how many people read it. I do think that's very bold and brave in a lot of ways and can help a lot of people. Now, didn't love this one though because it felt... She says that she has... What did she say? I wrote it down actually. Yeah, she says she is the most healed she will ever be. And if you know me, you know I do not resonate with that sentiment whatsoever. I think that you can go through hard things and continue to grow and become the person you want to be. I don't associate myself with that mindset of like, oh, I've been through hard things and now my life is just going to be hard forever and nothing's ever my fault and there's no accountability and I am just basically like surrendered to my circumstances. I'm a slave to my circumstances. That's who I am. She also talks about like victim language versus survivor language and how I don't want to butcher this, like, but basically she resonates more with victim language versus survivor language. If that's her prerogative, good for her. Again, I do not resonate with that. I do not live my life that way. I've been through hard things. I'm going through hard things, and I don't think you can get very far thinking that way. And you may be able to in certain aspects of life, but I think that I'm right because of how she kind of ends the book talking about how, you know, she wishes this and she wishes that. And some of like, okay, it's a memoir of her body, but then even parts of the story she couldn't even tell. And you can tell she's like, I had something really bad happen to me. And then she just keeps explaining it like, I had something really bad happen to me. I had something really bad happen to me. When that bad thing happened to me, that bad thing that happened to me, da da da. And it's like I don't know if that was like a stylistic choice or if she literally is just not healed enough to talk about that thing. This is such an interesting memoir, especially coming off of Viola Davis's memoir and Jeanette McCurdy's. It's a very, like, just so interesting to compare how people tell stories and, like, the triumph that I felt reading Viola Davis's and Jeanette McCurdy's and the lack of triumph in Roxane Gay's. She's basically just, like, a victim of her circumstances perpetually and forever. And that, I don't know, I don't love that reading it for me. And I also don't know if I love other people reading it and being like, you're right, overcoming this is too hard. Let me just fold and be like, my life sucks. My life's going to suck forever. I'm a victim, not a survivor. I don't think that's helpful. And I don't think that's right. So it got a 2 stars for me. And I trust me, guys, I'm so happy she was able to share her story. The parts of it that she felt comfortable sharing. But man, I did not resonate with it and I don't agree with it. But if you have read it, please let me know your thoughts. And am I just so wrong? Or am I right in how I'm kind of processing this story? Again, I will take full accountability if you guys are like, girl, you're wrong, like that's just messed up to say. I will think about it. I will continue thinking about it. But for right now, I think that's my stance. And I honestly think I'm right. Okay, anyway, moving on, because I do want to finish a 3rd book in this today. And the only other book on Goodreads that, actually, let's check how many books behind I am now. 2, please. 2. I'm 3 books behind schedule. I'm so happy about that. Okay, so I definitely want to try to finish 1 more today, and then maybe I'll finish 2 tomorrow, and I'll be freaking done with this video I've been working on for months. Okay, only other book I'm in the middle of is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and it's gonna take me like 6+ hours to finish, because I'm just kind of reading it as I'm going to sleep at night, and I've really been liking it, but I don't know if I'm gonna fit that in this video. I need something quicker, and I do need to clean my house, unfortunately. So I might listen to Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. It's the book I was telling you guys about earlier. It's 6.5 hours, and I might be able to finish it tonight. I probably won't finish it tonight because I have a Grey's Anatomy addiction. Yeah, so I might just listen to like half of it tonight and clean my house. Good morning. Can you tell I got literally no sleep last night because I was up reading The Nightingale. Oh my goodness, I am absolutely hooked. I am not doing anything all day until I finish this book. I probably have like 100 pages left. The girls in the book club were doing a sprint, but because the time zones are kind of different, sometimes I'm like in the middle of making dinner or doing soccer. By the way, also, if you have a book that like, because she's so big, like I'm all the way on page 442, and like if I were to open it all the way, I would crack the spine. So I kind of train my spine by doing like 2 pages at a time. It is a little bit tedious, but it's worth it, and it makes your book more floppy. I kind of just do 2 pages at a time. Also, Kaiser's clearly home because he has a doctor's appointment in just a little bit. So yes. The girls were doing a sprint last night in the book club, and I had been like in the middle of doing dinner or something, and so I was like, anybody down for like one more, because I'm still awake, and I'm also, it's an hour earlier than some of the girls, but some of them stayed up with me and did another hour, and that's really all I needed to like get extra hooked into this book, like just sitting down for an hour. And then after that, I probably actually read for 2 hours total, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up at like 3:30 and could not fall back to sleep. So I was like, okay, I'll just read myself back to sleep. And then I stayed up for another 2 hours reading. I think I couldn't sleep because I was like dreaming about this book, and I have to know what's gonna happen. Like I just have to know. And so yeah, I woke up at 5, or I was up at 5:30, and I finally fell back asleep. And then it felt like 5 seconds went by and my alarm was going off, and it was 7. Like, look at my eyes. I'm literally so tired. But you know, motherhood's a calling, and honestly, this book is a calling. I cannot wait to finish it. I probably have like 100 pages left, and I'm so excited. I feel like also, if you don't know what The Nightingale is about, it's about World War II, so Germany and Jews, and when the Germans occupied France is where it mainly takes place, like France, Paris, and like some other little cities. And it's so, oh my gosh, it's so sad. Like I haven't like fully bawled yet or anything. My eyes definitely did get watery because there is some other parts in the book. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so layered, like relationship wise. It's so layered, and it's also so nuanced. Like even with the German soldiers, like not all of them being super evil, and some of like the German soldiers helping out the Parisian people. It's beautiful, but it's also so sad. So I'm just loving it. I think the hard part about this is like, this was my book that I would read before bed, and I think that's not a good idea, because now I'm actually really getting to the sad part, like this all last night. So I probably read like hundreds of pages just last night, and I think that's why I couldn't really sleep, because it's sad, not in like a way a book is typically sad, in like, oh, it's sad, but it's also fake. This is sad, but it was also real, and so it was kind of, I think, hard to sleep after that, because it's not complete fiction. Like, it's historical fiction, but there's also a lot of truth to it. And I think that made it hard to sleep after, because it's sad. I'm going to kind of get ready and then sit down and read for as long as I can. A little bit better. It's still a big book. I just don't want to crack the spine. Shaggy and the gang were going skiing. That mountain is Shaggy jiggled his skis. We need to get some chow. I have 30 pages left of The Nightingale, and everyone was right. It is really sad and not what I expected. Not what I expected the ending to be like. Okay, so that is really sad. Okay. It's the next day. Obviously, I finished The Nightingale. That was the last clip. Okay, I literally had to take a 3-hour nap after finishing this. I feel like it kind of haunted me the rest of the day. I love it so much though. Obviously, a 5-star World War II historical fiction. So good. Like, I am so shocked. I will also say, I don't know if I said this earlier in the video, but don't be intimidated by its size. The writing is very, I wouldn't say simple, but it's easily understandable. And it doesn't take a lot of brain power actually to read. And I feel like I heard historical fiction and I immediately thought it was going to be so hard to understand and I was just not going to know what was happening. No, she wrote it perfectly. Like there's the perfect amount of depth. The vocabulary is perfect without, like, it's challenging without being like too challenging or too simplistic. It was really good. 5 stars. And everyone is right. You do need to get your tissues ready. I did not think I was gonna cry. Like, I was fine. I was fine until the end. I was like, I am not fine. Okay, and then I still have all of these books I need to finish. I want to at least read like 10 books from my September TBR, and I've only read 4 so far. So I just picked up Annie Bot by Sierra Greer last night, and I probably got like 50 pages into it. On my Kindle. It's all about like, so basically she's like a sex robot. I didn't really know that going into it. I thought that she was just a robot that this guy had created to like fulfill all of his needs. So like she cooks, she cleans, she does, you know, things with him, and like heats her body temperature up perfectly for him, but like she doesn't look like a robot. Like she looks like a person. And it's really interesting, but I think the main theme is supposed to be like how love and autonomy work hand in hand, because he's like literally created her and she is trying to like understand what love is. She kind of starts to get a brain and mind of her own, and how his words and actions affect her, etc., etc. Very interesting. So that's what I'm going to be reading today on my Kindle. Got a little bit of a fun package, a book package. A few months ago, I pre-ordered the Bridgerton books. If you watch my videos, you've seen me unbox the other 2. And then I believe these are the last 2. But they came out, like Barnes came out with like special edition Bridgerton books. And they're very pretty. And I got them because I don't have the Bridgerton books. And I had been saying, actually I think like for a year, that I wanted the books, but I don't like the ones with the cast of the show on the front. This is Hyacinth and Gregory's. And I think each, yeah, so this is book 7 and 8 in 1. And this is the book that goes before it. This is book 5 and 6. Eloise and Francesca. I love this color combo. Oh, it's so pretty. And honestly, the writing inside is pretty big. Like I actually could see myself like seriously reading this. It's so pretty. I'll show you the other ones if you guys want to see them. Okay, here's books 3 and 4. This is like watermelon to me. And then books 1 and 2. I just have them stacked up here. They're like that, almost like linen-y material, like the Barnes classics that I have right here. I'm just gonna add these up here. They're so pretty. Okay, I've made it to like page 70 or 80 in Annie Bot. It's such an interesting premise because she's a robot, but she's actually AI is kind of how they end up doing it. So then you also have to look at like where the world is going, like real world going, with AI. Very interesting, very interesting. And I think I'm to the part where she's like actually kind of starting to become way more human. And I'm so interested to see like what he ends up doing with her. It's very weird. Okay, besties, I finished Annie Bot finally. Not finally, it's literally been a day, but I don't know why it feels like, because it's because I'm trying to catch up to this stinking reading goal that I feel like every book I'm reading is taking forever, even though I read Annie Bot in, I think, 24 hours. Yeah, I just finished it. I posted my little review on Goodreads. It's definitely a 4-star for me. It's definitely, first of all, it's kind of uncomfortable because the topics are of triggering nature, like love, autonomy, libido, control, emotional abuse, physical abuse. it's a lot. But then she's also this like AI robot, so you're like, she's not real, but she is. Yeah, it's just a lot. Like, I don't want to give away too much, but if those topics interest you at all, definitely a fun rabbit hole to go down. I was talking about it with Faith and Kaylin, and it's just, there's so many avenues you can go down when talking about those subjects and topics. And then even the man that she's like dating, or the man that owns her, really, she basically exists to please him, whether that be cleaning, cooking, intimacy, and how just like so many men thinks that is what the purpose of a woman is. And so there's just so many avenues you could go down when discussing this book, which I think makes it really fun. I think it would also be a good book club book if you have like a really small book club, because I think, again, the subjects can be really triggering. And there's also a lot of like 1-star reviews for the book, because I think it's hard for people to read and like understand and get past the uncomfortability to get to the point of discussion or appreciating the themes of the book. Either way, it's a 4 stars for me. I really liked it, but I'm more so, I don't like reading about like witches and demons, but give me like real life trauma and I can read about it no problem. Like, I low-key don't even need trigger warnings. Like, my life is a trigger at this point, so I don't get triggered by like domestic violence and stuff like that. It may be like a little bit uncomfortable, but like, I'm human at the end of the day. So I love like low-key like a trauma centered story, because I think that's like what I can relate to most in my life. So anyway, I really liked it. 4 stars. I also started Saving Noah last night by Lucinda Berry. My library had it available, and from my understanding on TikTok, basically Lucinda Berry is like, did I say this already in this video? I probably did. Rita McFadden, but deeper and more, not more broad, but I think there's more themes or topics to her books. Saving Noah, he literally is a pedo boy. We're from basically most of the time the POV of the mother, who was like making excuses in a way for his illness. She said, literally, it's the craziest story. Like, this is I cannot believe that this is like a book that's written. Like, that's crazy. And again, kind of an uncomfortable read, because the whole time you're just like, he belongs in jail, man. Like, I don't know. I don't care what you're trying to talk about or what you're trying to say. Like, jail time immediately. Interesting. Anyway, I cleaned my bathroom and my bedroom last night and I got to 55%. So I'm going to finish this. And then, you guys, after I finish this, which I'm probably going to today, I will officially only be 1 book behind my reading schedule. Today is September 20th. I think I also told you guys the date on September 9th, and I wanted to be done with my reading goal in 4 days. Yeah, it never works out. Every plan I've made for this video, it doesn't work. So at this point, I'm just vibing with the intent to finish this challenge, is what it's really turned into, in the next 24 hours. So hopefully I can finish this and then start another book, and we'll see where we go from there. But I cannot believe it finally says 2 books behind schedule. Like, that's genuinely so exciting. So I'm going to clean up, start decorating for fall. We're definitely going to vlog that on our family channel if you're interested in seeing that, and listen to Saving Noah. Entire thing, the whole thing. I just finished Saving Noah. Wow. I am, my Goodreads review, I put speechless, horrified. So, it is true. It is very Frida McFadden vibes, but worse, but scarier, creepier. So like the whole premise of Saving Noah, like I said, is he is a pedo, but he didn't like, I don't even want to talk about this. Like, I didn't read what the book was about before I clicked on it. I just knew I wanted to read a book by Lucinda Berry because everyone raves about her. And it was the first one available on Libby at my library. All I will say, if you check the trigger warnings and it's something you want to read or listen to, just know my personal opinion is that the mother is delusional. And that's crazy. I do feel like a lot of the Goodreads reviews, people are saying like, oh, it's being glorified, da-da-da. But I really feel like, God, we need to get out of that frame of thinking of like, just because an author writes about something in a certain way does not mean they're glorifying it, and it might not even mean that they actually agree with it. You know, that's the beauty and art of storytelling, in crafting a story, in characters, and especially characters that are actually against the norm or don't fit into what we think a mom should do or how a mom should behave. And so I think it's interesting for those reasons, because women like her actually do exist in the world. Actually, some of you guys might be that, you know what I mean? Like, we just never know. We just never know what kind of person or things people will do until they're put in certain situations. And even me, like, I would love to say I would react differently. I would do things differently. But, you know, you can never be so bold as to claim, like, for sure on every single thing in life that you would do it a certain way until you are actually presented with those circumstances. Genuinely horrified, though. Like, that is a very strange read. Very strange characters. I still rated it 4 stars though, because it was really interesting and I did not want to stop listening. Like, again, I started it, was that last night? Yeah, I started it last night and then finished it less than 24 hours later. Yeah. You want to know what Goodreads did to me though? So I just put in Saving Noah and tell me why I am still 2 books behind schedule, because I guess in the time that I started filming this, they updated it. So I'm still 2 books behind schedule and I thought I was only gonna be 1. Why are they doing this to me? Literally, I cannot. Goodreads is against me in the moment. So anyway, now I need to pick another book to read. And I thought it was gonna be my last one, but I guess I'm gonna have 2 more I need to do. This video is probably 3 hours long. So I need to look at my list and figure out what I'm gonna read next. Did my hair, so ignore these little clips. But I think the last clip you guys saw, we were at the football game and I was reading a novel love story. I'm not done with that. I have like 30 more pages left. We were doing a 2-hour-long sprint this morning, like first thing this morning in the book club, and it was so helpful because I basically finished that book. And then I also, like a couple days ago, started an audiobook, and I'm really excited for it because it's another memoir. It is The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I cannot believe she's barely getting around to releasing a memoir. Like, that's so fun. And I only made it to chapter 2, so I'm going to do my nails and continue listening to The Third Gilmore Girl. And I hope I like it. I really do. I actually, earlier this year, Lauren Graham's team invited me to her book signing. And I remember Lauren Graham saying something like Kelly Bishop was like her favorite person on set of Gilmore Girls. So I am very excited to listen to it, although I did read some of the reviews on Goodreads. Some of them weren't great, so I'm interested to see how I personally feel about it. I will let you guys know, of course.
To a vast empty theater, all that shadow making us dancers sparkle like jewels in a jewelry box.
I did orange for October. I made it to chapter 4 in The Third Gilmore Girl, and I'm really liking it. I brought my beats so I can listen to it while I run into the grocery store and grab stuff for dinner. But I just kind of had a thought about memoirs because I've read, I think, 4 or 5 in the past like 2 months, I believe. And it just makes me think, like, when I'm listening to a memoir, I can be so quick to like judge or nitpick every single like life decision that they make, and then I will kind of come to and be like, nuance, girl, nuance. Like, although she is making decisions I say I would never make, that's just, it might not be true. And so it makes memoirs much more enjoyable when you like recognize the nuance of a story, and you kind of like, as you're listening, you have to give people time and space to recognize their wrongdoings, and sometimes that can take a really long time. I know that when me and Kaylin wrote our book, which is very much like memoir style, you know, you write a lot of things that you want to be like authentic about and honest about, because like, what's the point of putting your story out there if you're not going to tell the truth? You know, like, it's something that's going to outlive me. Why not tell the truth, you know? And I hope that as people read it, they would have understanding to even make it at least to the end of the book before they make final judgments. But also have like, give people space and room to grow, because even things that I said in our book, I might not view the same even now, just a few years later. So anyway, it's just like a perspective shift when you're listening or reading other people's stories, not being so quick to judge and nitpick every single little thing somebody does. I feel like I am also kind of on edge because I feel like that happens a lot with TikTok. Like, we have these people that we give platforms to, and they blow up and they get huge, and then as soon as they do something that you wouldn't do, it's like now there's 1,000,001 think pieces and videos on this one thing that they did. And it's like, okay, we have to exist in the nuance. We have to exist in the fact that we are human and mistakes will be made. They will. It's not if, it's when. I also feel like when we continuously like nitpick somebody's bad decisions, we are not appreciating the storytelling that's actually happening, or like the beauty of life and the fact that we have free will, the fact that we can even make choices. Like, literally, thank God we are not robots that are programmed to make perfect decision after perfect decision, because like, how just boring would that be? And we wouldn't be able to learn from each other. So anyway, that's just kind of something I was thinking about as I've been listening to this. I feel especially like whenever there's cheating mentioned in a book, like in a memoir, like in a nonfiction book, like in fiction, I don't care. Like, if there's cheating, like, I get it, whatever. But when it's real life people cheating, I'm literally like, but it's like, relax, girl, relax. Because people do things for different reasons, and it's not that it's right, but it's the beauty of the human experience. It's the beauty of choice. It's the beauty of making bad decisions. Like, you know, I think you guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. Anyway, I'm liking it so far. It's so I didn't know that she was originally a ballet dancer. And so like, the whole beginning of the memoir is her kind of trying to get her footing in ballet and like theater and dance and stuff, which I don't necessarily have like an inclination to caring about literally at all. I'm kind of waiting to get to like the Gilmore Girls part, but I know she didn't play that role until later in her life. And so I like it, but I'm not like loving it absolutely. But I do think there's just like a layer to me that will always love memoirs, because I love the art of storytelling, and I love life, and I love hearing other people live, getting out there and fighting for the life that they want. Like, I love that. Like, yes, girl, get out there, get your bag, divorce that terrible man. Like, yes. They have so many good pumpkin cream cheese coffee cake, pumpkin donut holes. These are like the Cozy Girl pumpkin spice mini cupcakes, pumpkin roll. Here's our Cozy Reading Girl treats. I just finished the third Gilmore Girl. I can't believe I basically literally read all of it today. And I really liked it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a solid, I don't know. I'm so torn about like rating memoirs. I really need to know what you guys think about rating memoirs, and if you find it okay. I think it is. I'd probably rate this one a 4 stars. Because if I rated it 5 stars, like Viola Davis's memoir was, I rated Viola's a 6 star, and Jeanette McCurdy's a 5 star. So maybe I would rate this like a 4.5. I don't know, because I just finished it. I feel like when I first finish a book, it's kind of hard for me to like get a grasp, because I need to like sit on stuff and like let it marinate in my mind a little bit. Some main things I love though about it, I will say again, most of it is about her dancing career. And then a small portion of it is about her time on Gilmore Girls. And it doesn't start until like, I think after halfway through the book. So just, be forewarned, it's not like a Gilmore Girls recap by any means. But I love, like, I think this is a really fun memoir because she is 80, I think she might be 81 or 82 at this point. And it's my first memoir written by a woman who's older and has experienced a lot in her life. And she talks about how she doesn't think about her failures nearly as much as she thought she would have, which is very encouraging as a girl in her 20s, where I'm almost afraid to like do certain changes or make career changes or anything like that, because I think that the rest of my life will be defined by that mistake. So that is interesting to think about, like, just be amiable and open and learn from your mistakes. That's another thing she said, that she is a lifelong learner, and even in her 80s, learning is something that she loves to do and that she's zealous about. And so that's also encouraging because I'm that way too. And it also just makes you think about, like, when you get to be 80, you don't have that much more life to look forward to, and that can be depressing. But she talks about, like, she does look forward to the future, and she's happy about the past she was able to live. And she talks about, like, how full of a life she's had, and she's loved and been loved, and just a very, like, it's I think it's genuinely what life is about. Like, she has lived life to her full advantage, or like she's lived life to her fullest is really what I'm trying to say. I also loved how she talked about, now that once her like acting career was basically up, she decided to not be bitter about ushering in the new generation, and was super excited for them and had words of encouragement for them. And so I think that's another thing too, is as we get to our 30s, like, our time of being the best at something may be coming to an end, may not. No, it's not for sure, but it could be. And you want to have a good attitude as you usher in the new generation and the people coming before you, and not becoming bitter, because ultimately that's just gonna make your life harder, not theirs. They're still gonna succeed if they're good in their field. They're still gonna succeed whether you are bitter or not. Also loved this. Me and Kaylin were talking about this last night when we went to the grocery store, of like our different career changes we've made and pivots we've made, and how it's just kind of not the norm in America. Like, typically people choose one career and then they stick with that pretty much forever. And just not being afraid of changing things up or reassessing your life and being like, actually, you know what, I don't like acting. I actually want to do this. I want to do something else. And recognizing that we actually have the freedom to do that. Like, that's the beauty of life, is we can reassess. And she said, even if you're working full time and you're super busy, like, go take a ballet class or go take a dance class or have some kind of, she didn't say hobby, but I'm like, as a hobby girl myself, I'm like, she's basically encouraging women to take up hobbies and take up interests outside of the home, outside of marriage, outside of these careers, 9-to-5s that we have, something that we actually, and do something that's fun or new or creative or helps us use our bodies or our hands in different ways. And I love that. I'm such a huge proponent of that. The thing that makes me so sad reading this, obviously she had to, I won't spoil it, but like, she had some things with her husband that is just so sad to me. Talk about like abortions and psychic mediums, which I did not love that part. I think that's the beauty of memoirs, is listening to people who have differing opinions from you and still like appreciating their work and the life that they've lived and the beauty that they've brought to the world. So now that this one's over, I can finally mark it as read on Goodreads, and that will bring me, this thing better not have updated to 3 books behind schedule. Okay, no, we are still 2 books behind schedule, but I can update progress. I'm not gonna do a rating yet because I'm not really ready to rate it. Now I am 1 book behind schedule, which is technically 30 pages behind schedule because I only have like 30 pages left in a novel love story. So I'm just gonna get to reading that. guys, it's the next day and I am officially caught up to my stinking Goodreads goal. I'm so happy about it. I brought in all the books that I have read during this challenge. This is not including any audiobooks I listened to or books that I just read on my Kindle. Obviously, this is just what I already had on my shelf, because I have officially stopped buying every physical book that I read because I found that not all of them are worth having on my shelf. When I started this video, I had only read 32 books and I was 19 books behind schedule. In this video, or since the start of this video, I have read 39 books. So I am now at 72 read books on my Goodreads. Hopefully all of that math is mathing. If not, we're maybe 1 or 2 books off. And I finally am caught up. I'm so happy and just relieved because I know a lot of people were saying like you could just wait till the end of the year and catch up then, but I did not want to be around Thanksgiving and Christmas time not able to like fully enjoy the season because I'm like trying to catch up to my goal. So I honestly feel like August, September, October is the perfect time to catch up because there's not really that much going on. And honestly, this is just proof that you can do it even if you are 20 books behind schedule. There's also, I feel like, a lot of good recommendations in here for short books. Like some of my favorite books this year now are Claire Keegan books, Small Things Like These and So Late in the Day. And then I also read Foster, which I really liked Foster too. All my random Chopsticks as my bookmark. Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, Coraline, Annie Bot, Beach Read. Like there are so many. And if you're kind of like, wait, what was your thoughts on a certain book? Every month I have done wrap-ups on every book that I've read, and some of these books were from July. Like I think I started this video with The Castaways by Ellen Hildebrand, and I really liked this too. And you can see my full final thoughts in all of my wrap-ups. But I just cannot finally believe we got here. I will say the book that brought us to the end was a novel love story by Ashley Poston, and I finished it last night and I was so relieved. The relief I felt, I literally can't tell you. But I have actually just my thoughts on this, and I did really like it. I think I'm kind of at like a 3.5 rating. I normally don't do half ratings. I think starting in October is when I will start doing half ratings because a solid 3, like there's too much of a difference between like a plain 3-star and like a 3.5, 3.75. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I need there to be some differentiation because some books I've rated 3 stars because I'm just like, they were okay, like I would still recommend them. But then others are 3 stars for different, like 3 stars in a different way. I feel like this is more like, it's not just a 3 stars, it's like a 3.5 because I liked it more than a typical 3-star, but it's also not a 2-star, you know what I mean? Yeah, anyway, I liked it. I think I liked it more than most people. I think that because the premise, she's living in a town of one of her favorite novels, people kind of came up with their own story in their head of how they thought it was going to play out. And then as you're reading it, it can kind of set you up for disappointment. Thankfully, I didn't do that. I knew that people were disappointed because it wasn't what they imagined it to be, and sometimes that can kind of kill your reading experience. But I literally just went into it like, I know that she's entering into this fictional world, but I think that allowed me to enjoy it. I also don't think I read the back, or if I did read the back, I read it when I bought it, which I don't remember it at that point. And I thought it was really cute. I thought it was fun. I think that for me, more than like she's entering into her favorite fictional world, I thought the coolest part was that she got to interact with the characters from her favorite novel. So like, yeah, you're imagining Virgin River or Gilmore Girls, but like more than being in Stars Hollow, being able to be around Rory, being able to be around Luke and Lorelai and Miss Patty and like actually talking to them, because as you're watching the show, you're kind of making them the character in your mind that you believe them to be based on who they are in the show. So like we see Rory loves you know, she made some bad decisions in the show, and so that kind of leads us to believe different things about her. And so being able to see her in real life and like talk to actual Rory about like her decisions and where she's at in life and whatever, I think that was like actually the coolest part, is that she got to like meet her favorite characters in this story. There also is a little bit of like this mystery aspect to it, not like a murder mystery, but like there's some weird stuff happening, and so she's kind of like what's going on. I feel like that also drove the story forward for me of like literally what is happening. I did guess it, but it was still fun to read nonetheless. So yeah, I would give it like 3.5 because it's not quite 4 stars, but it's not like bottom of the barrel 3 stars. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys found it encouraging if you were behind in your goal or want to read more. I have found myself, I have to literally put my phone in a different room. Otherwise, I will not read. Like even to sit down and film this video, I had to put my phone in a different room because like the self-control is not controlling. Let me tell you that. So that's another big tip. If you are like, I'm not reading a lot, it's probably the phone. Probably the phone. So anyway, I think that's everything. I hope I didn't forget something. Wow, I can't believe this is done. I've been working on this for so long, like months. Like I think since July. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys loved it, and I will see you guys in the next one.